Oh, when I got there, my breathing was a bit better. They put me on oxygen for a while. When I got to see a doctor, his words were, and I'm going to quote him, women of a certain age tend to exaggerate things a bit. I think you should make an appointment and see a therapist. What? So, after him saying that for a while and insisting that's what was happening, I just walked out of the hospital and drove home. Went to see my doctor, insisted on having some allergy tests. She didn't want to because she was going on the report that he had sent her. And when it came back, it was a very severe case of allergies to dust mites. So she immediately gave me Ventolin and we got rid of the carpet and curtains in our house. And that made a huge difference. This is hard to believe this all happened to me. Why me? Anyway, my doctor that I had been seeing moved away in 2004, so I started seeing a new one. Had an appointment with him one day about October 2005. When I got in there, he asked how he could help, but I couldn't speak. I knew what I wanted to say, exactly what I wanted to say. Couldn't physically form the words. Nothing came out. He was quite concerned, obviously, and he rang, while I was there, he rang a neurologist in the capital city of our state, discussed it with him, and they sent me for an MRI. When the results came back from that, he sat me down and said, I'm so sorry to have to tell you this, but you have multiple sclerosis. Which, for some strange reason, I was relieved to hear that, because what it meant was all those symptoms that I'd had throughout the last 21 years weren't me being a hypochondriac, weren't me being crazy. There was a reason for it. It was MS. So, next thing, January 2006, Saturday morning, I woke up, a bit of irritation in my right eye. I didn't know what it was. There was also quite a bit of swelling around the eyelid and around just my forehead here. So we whipped out to the hospital, because it's only a 5 minutes drive away. Spoke to a doctor there, and he said it's probably just an allergy to a new type of soap or shampoo. I told him I'm using the same stuff I've always used for the last 10 years. He dismissed it really and sent me home. Sunday morning, whole forehead, eye, face, everything was swollen up. I could barely see out of my eye. So we went back to the hospital and they said the same thing. Sent me home. Monday morning, I rang to make a appointment with my doctor. He wasn't there, but I got to see a locum doctor who took one look at me and said, "You've got shingles in your eye, all over your face, in your hair. Do you realise that shingles in your eye can send you blind?" And I said, "Well, I've seen at least a couple of doctors in the last couple of days, and they just dismissed it and sent me home." So he put me straight away on the shingles medication, and it started to clear up. Took quite a while, and the worst part about it was I had shingles in my eye, and I still have scarring on the cornea now, even though it's 18 years later. So 2016, started having some stomach issues. Started feeling really nauseous whenever I ate something. And within a short time, after, well, basically every day, I was vomiting. So we went to see a gastroenterologist who first thing he wanted to do, he did a gastroscopy and then wanted to do some other tests, which actually showed that I had gastroparesis, a moderate case, not severe but not mild. He also wanted to do a colonoscopy just to check the whole digestive system. We had to go to a different city for that, so we stayed in a hotel. We started doing the prep, but it wasn't long after I started that I felt a bit strange. And then I fainted, ended up on the floor, and my whole body was starting to spasm. Called an ambulance. They took me to the local public hospital. So we did the paperwork and they took the OBS. But mostly we were just left alone in a cubicle in the emergency department with a nurse popping in every so often and a student doctor who popped in every so often. We were there for hours. At that stage, I was calling it a seizure. I was having a seizure, but I was awake, and it lasted for hours and hours. My blood pressure dropped to 80/50. My body temperature dropped to 33.4 Celsius, which is hypothermic levels. The doctor, not the student doctor, but the other doctor that was meant to be looking after me, told the nurses they'd obviously made a mistake. It can't be that temperature. I'd be feeling cold. Meanwhile, I had 6 blankets on because I kept saying, "I'm feeling cold." He made them do the temperature 4 times, and it was the same every time, no matter how they took it, under the tongue, under the arm. Yeah, the ones that they just point at your forehead, all said the same thing. There were no answers, no explanations offered to us. After about 5-6 hours, they basically said, There's nothing we can do. The spasms are starting to ease off. You can go now. So we went back to the hotel, and then the next day we drove home. The gastroenterologist organised another colonoscopy a few months later. The same thing happened. I'd only had about a quarter of the preparation when the seizures started happening again. This time, however, I had spent the night previously in hospital so that I could be monitored as soon as I took the preparation. In the end, I had the sister who was in charge of the entire medical ward in my room holding my hand, which was quite funny. These seizures just would not stop. Again, 5 or 6 hours. She was in there with me. She said she'd never seen anything like it before. So they couldn't do the procedure. And the gastroenterologist said basically, you can't have any more colonoscopies. Because even though he used the mild preparation that they normally have for kids or elderly people, it still had the same effect on me. So that was the end of that. So coming up to now, at the moment, my doctor is the best doctor. I have my doctor, GP, neurologist, exercise physio, physiotherapist, speech pathologist, myotherapist, occupational therapist. I have someone comes in to help with cooking once a fortnight. I have someone coming in to help with the garden once a fortnight. And I have what they call social support people twice a fortnight. And most of those things are paid for by our a part of our health system called the National Disability Insurance Scheme. So most of it is at no cost to me. So the whole team I've got now are fantastic. I can talk with them about anything, any symptoms that I'm having. They listen. They recognise that I've had this for so long. I actually know about medications and dosages and, what to increase and what to decrease and all those sorts of things. So right now, at this moment, everything's, as far as that goes, is good. So after all that, rambling, I'm going to end the video here. So congratulations to anyone who's managed to last this long. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.